Hi, I'm Jennifer Lipka, she, her. I'm a PhD student here at UBC in Land and Food Systems. So my research looks at bumblebees in agroecosystems, looking at how to support them and how they're doing our pollination services and how we can encourage them to do more pollination services for us, particularly with blueberries. Bumblebees benefit our farms, our agroecosystems, through their ability to perform pollination services for us, particularly with crops such as blueberries and tomatoes. They are able to dislodge pollen and help to make fruit larger, make fruit heavier and maybe tastier, and so, making food better for us. So it's really important to monitor bumblebees on farms to look at their health as well as their abundance in order to make sure that we have enough pollination services for our crops. So if the bumblebees are not doing very well, by monitoring we can find that out and we can change the way that we farm, how we grow things in order to support bumblebees and their populations to get the benefit of pollination services they provide. The two main threats to bumblebees are pesticides and monocultures. So first, pesticides are chemicals we spray on crops to kill insects, mostly targeting negative or bad or pest insects, but bumblebees are insects and therefore pesticides hurt bumblebees too. They can reduce their populations, kill individuals, and therefore reduce our pollination services that we get from bumblebees to our crops. Secondly, monocultures. So when we grow large swaths of one type of crop, this can benefit bumblebees for short periods of times, maybe a couple of weeks in the spring, summer, etc., when the crop is in flower. But once that crop is no longer in flower, then there is nothing there for bumblebees to snack on, to get nectar or pollen from. At UBC Farm last year, I was looking at how bumblebees utilize different resources at the farms in different spaces at the UBC Farm. So the UBC Farm is great in terms of its diversity for how many crops and plants and just flowers that it has in the margins, in the hedgerows. All over the farm there are lots and lots of resources of flowers that come in different times of the year that benefit bumblebees, which is why we have so many bumblebees at the UBC Farm. So in the spring we have a lot of the thimbleberry in the hedgerows, and the bumblebees love it at that time. Then we move into the summer when their squash field is growing and has lots and lots of flowers for the bumblebees, and the bumblebees go crazy for the squash flowers. So having the variety of plants at the farm has really made it so that there is a plethora of floral resources at the farm year-round, which is very great for bumblebees. So with my research, with my master's, I looked at UBC Farm, I looked at all the different flowers that bumblebees liked and kind of how much they liked them. So whether they like a flower more than another flower, and how we can kind of rank the flowers and how much they are preferred. That way we can find out what bumblebees like and then take those flower lists and plant flowers at the farms. So for this year, I've been looking at bumblebee abundance and diversity at various blueberry farms across the Lower Mainland, all the way out into Chilliwack, Abbotsford, Langley, Surrey, so way far out east. And I have definitely noticed a very big difference in how many bumblebees we have been finding at the UBC Farm versus at these farms in these very intensive agricultural areas. So Abbotsford is very known for its very long and wide fields of corn and blueberries and all this other crops that they grow. Oh, dairy farms as well. So dairy farms in Abbotsford. And so, a very different environment for bumblebees in Abbotsford versus at UBC Farm. So what's unique about UBC Farm is how many different plants they grow, how many different flowers they have, but also their connection and closeness to a very natural habitat, Pacific Spirit Park, being a very great place for bumblebees to nest and live and then get benefit from the farm flowers. Whereas on these farms, not as much natural habitat available for nesting, and then fewer floral resources throughout the whole year. 1 week we caught 80 bumblebees in one day at UBC Farm. Like, I can't even believe how many bumblebees that was. Yet at some of these farms we're spending a lot of time there only catching touching 2 or 3. And so very big difference in numbers and diversity from the two. But I think that what's great about a lot of the farmers I'm working with is that they're very interested in improving their environment for biodiversity. I think one of the most surprising things that I learned about my research at the UBC farm last year was how much bumblebees like dahlia flowers. I think that's a really positive finding from my research, because lots of people love to grow dahlias and they're really nice flowers in a garden, and they benefit bumblebees. Both male bumblebees and female bumblebees love them, and so I think that was something I found really interesting about my research.